Joining us now with more on this expanding investigation and case is former Department of Homeland Security advisor and president of Redland Strategies, Michael Balboni. Thank you, sir, for your time. Let's start with what Secretary Noem announced this week, saying that the department will conduct a massive investigation. How does that fit in with the widening investigation and efforts from the Justice Department and the two overlapping?
What's happening here is that the Department of Homeland Security has utilized its investigative arm to go in and target massive fraud. Well, what strikes me here, and this is not just as from my purview as a former security official, but also as a former state legislator, to have a governor of a state admit to a federal prosecutor that, yeah, it could total to be $1 billion, but we're really cracking down on it while he campaigns for a third term is pretty outrageous. Now, why is HSI targeting Minnesota? Because there have been reports not only of additional fraud, but coming out of COVID, but also fraud that entitles the individuals to take monies and send it overseas, specifically back to Somalia. That poses a security risk, not only for the United States, but frankly, for the rest of the world.
How difficult is it, Michael, to follow a paper trail in this type of investigation?
It's very difficult, especially when you have a state government that basically has been saying, nothing to see here. No, we have fraud all the time. It's not a big issue. And yet, this is the type of funding that criminal enterprises and terrorist organizations rely on to be able to fund their operations. So what you need to have is the governor of Minnesota that has all of the administrative agencies under his purview be able to work hand in hand with HSI to pull these folks out of the shadows and say, the programs that you were running, that you defrauded folks, not only in Minnesota, but there are also federal dollars involved here as well. These individuals need to be prosecuted, brought to justice, and everything torn down that they've set up in terms of this funding mechanism.
Governor Walz has said that he has hired outside auditors to look into some of these programs. How long might this process take?
Well, he's had how many years in office? 7 years? And he's not been able to really crack down so far on this. And now he's going to go out and he's going to tell the Minnesota taxpayers, not only did we let these dollars flow out the door, but now we're going to spend more tax dollars to bring in investigators. Well, why don't you just work with HSI right now and go out and take out the bad actors and then restructure the programs? He doesn't need to really do anything with another agency. He has plenty of agencies that he can work with right now.
What do you make of now allegations that some of this fraud might be happening in other states as well? What type of investigations and oversight needs to be happening elsewhere to uncover any potential fraud like this?
I think a lot of people are aware that during COVID, there was massive fraud based upon the payouts that the federal government was making to support local businesses and families. And so the federal government has had a program that's gone on certainly since 24 that has taken a look at where these dollars have gone. And what they're finding is it's not just limited to places like Minnesota. There are large states and large problems, especially when you look at cities that have had a huge migrant influx. It seems to be that they're hand in hand, a huge migrant influx puts people in place that they can take advantage of these programs and hide from the federal and state auditors.
I would imagine it is quite difficult, possibly, maybe even impossible, to recoup all of the lost funds that were fraudulently handed out.
Especially if they were taken overseas. You're absolutely right. And again, if it's in the billions of dollars, which even the governor admits, yeah, it's going to be in the billions, that's a huge amount of money that's been going out. So there should be outrage on a whole host of fronts. One should be the nation in terms of our security. Two should be the taxpayer, both at the state and federal government. And also, this really erodes confidence in the state government that they know what they're doing, whether it's in Minnesota or any other state. And so there should be accountability and transparency. Those are two keys for these types of programs.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.